Good morning, guys. It is June 19th at 10:54 a.m. Someone pointed out the fact that I always show you my watch at the beginning of my vlogs. If I do say the time and date, I don't even know why I do it. I can't even remember how long I've been doing it, probably like a year now, but like I just can't stop. So if you guys hadn't noticed that, literally look at almost every single one of my vlogs and I'm probably gonna tell you what time it is by showing you my watch. But it is so hot outside. This is not a drill. It is literally 84 degrees and I'm dying. This is like a typical day in Maryland, if not hotter. We're gonna go ahead and look at Maryland weather and see what it's like back home. Right now, it's 77 degrees, and keep in mind that back home, it is currently, what, 5:57 in the morning? And it's already that hot. It's supposed to go up to 84. It's gonna be 91 on Thursday back home. So, you know, London, I'm sure you guys are enjoying this, but I really can't deal with heat without a breeze. Apparently, it's not breezy in London, so I'm just sweating to death. But I'm gonna eat and then head to the gym. This weekend was so fun. We went to Gloucester. I got to see some of the fam. I got to see the Harry Potter stuff. So if you guys haven't seen that vlog, I'll have a card on the screen, but I wanted to make this more of a training day video. So I'm going to talk you guys through what I am now doing with my workout split. So if you're new here, I follow more powerlifting style rather than bodybuilding. So powerlifting is going to be your compound movements, squat, bench, and deadlift, whereas bodybuilding is going to be more your hypertrophy. You're going to be working within the like probably 8 to 12 and up rep ranges, whereas with powerlifting it's strength based, so I usually work within the 1 to 7 rep ranges for all of my lifts, and then I will do some accessory movements, whereas for bodybuilding it's mostly going to be all accessories, so you're focusing on building muscle while incorporating those compound movements, but more so focusing on what would be an accessory movement for powerlifting. So for example, powerlifting, I squat, bench, deadlift, but then I also still focus on certain body parts that I still want to grow. I'm still eating a surplus. It's not a crazy surplus anymore. I've gone down my calories probably 200 or 300 because I was in a super deep surplus eating about 3,000 calories a day, and now I'm eating anywhere from 2,500 to 2,800 depending upon the day. I'm not tracking or anything like that. I just know from personal experience and tracking in the past how much food I'm eating. So you do need to be in a surplus if you do want to build muscle. Not to say it's physically impossible not to, but it kind of is. As a beginner, you can get away with it for a little bit, but you do need to be in a surplus to build muscle, and you do need to be in a deficit to lose weight. Got a video on tracking macros, talking about calories, what a surplus and deficit is. So if you guys have any more questions about that, just check out that video because I promise I will answer all of the questions asked, and look at the comments too because I've responded to basically all of them. So because I'm following powerlifting style training, every now and then I will switch up my split. So when I did bodybuilding, I didn't switch up my split as much because I was just focusing on my muscle groups. So for a while I did an upper lower split. So like on Monday I would do back, biceps, triceps, and then on Tuesday I'd do quads, calves, and hamstrings. And then I would switch and do the rest of the muscle groups and then just alternate as I went. And then I slowly moved into separating them completely. So then I would do back and biceps, and then I would do shoulders and triceps, quads and hamstrings, glutes and calves, whatever it may be. I would split it up by muscle groups. So that's what I did when I was in more of my bodybuilding style training and more hypertrophy workouts. That's kind of what a typical week would look like for me. And then I started doing more of a duo blend. So I'm still doing that now, but I'm just changing up my priorities more. So I don't remember what my last split was. I literally change my split so frequently because it depends on how my lifts are going and if I need to increase or decrease the load that I'm putting on my body. So I went from squatting once a week, slowly went up to squatting 2 times a week, and then I went up to squatting 3 times a week. But my priorities have changed a little bit. I want to focus a little more on my quads because I really need to grow my quads because they're falling behind, and it's something personally that I want aesthetically. So I'm gonna start doing front squats every single week, and I'm going to get rid of one of my squat days. So before I was squatting 3 times a week, doing back squats. Mondays I'd go pretty heavy, probably up to 90% of my max sometimes. Tuesdays I would do a 3x3, and then Fridays I would do a 5x5. Now because both of those programs are very much linear progression, that didn't really work for me because I don't gain strength that quickly, so going up like 5 pounds a week just isn't practical for me at this point. So that wasn't quite working, so every now and then I would just do something random, and I feel like my squats are just suffering, so I'm like, I'm just gonna cut back on a day, not do so much, and just focus on something else. So this is gonna be my current split now. I'll explain while I do it. So this is gonna be my current split now. I'll explain to you guys why I've decided to do this. If you wanna follow it, try it out, go for it. It really depends on your goals and what you're doing. I have been lifting since September of 2015, so there's certain muscle groups where I'm like, I don't really care about hitting you. It's just not a priority. I can get it through other movements. So on Mondays, aka today, I'm gonna be doing heavy-ish back squats. It's really just gonna depend on how I'm feeling that day. Squats are a hit or miss for me, so we'll see how that goes today. And then I'm also going to bench, so that's gonna be my heavy bench day, and then I'm gonna hit triceps. So triceps are a huge priority for me. Number one, because obviously they're part of your bench. And then on Tuesdays, I'm gonna hit shoulders and back. So back will always be a priority for me because number one, it helps out my deadlift. It helps out my squats. It helps out my pretty much everything. Like it helps with posture. I really like having a wide back. It makes your waist look smaller. My waist looks extremely small, and it's not. My waist is like 26 and a half, maybe 27 inches. And the smallest it's ever been was like 23 and a half. And it still looks almost smaller than it did when it was actually at my smallest because I've grown my lats so much. So back will always be something that I work on. I love the look of a shredded back. I want to have nice thick back. I just love it. Personally, aesthetically, I love it. And then shoulders as well. My shoulders have come such a long way. Look at my baby delts, you know? Like, I remember for a really long time, I just wasn't seeing any results with them, and then I stopped doing so many movements for shoulders, and I really just focused on the movements that I felt the most mind to muscle connection with. And that's my biggest tip for anyone, whether you're a beginner, you're intermediate, or you're a novice lifter. Just focus on that mind to muscle connection when it comes to bodybuilding style training, because if you're not feeling your muscles working, then you're probably not getting the best contraction that you can get. So I like to do shoulders and back together. So I literally just made up this split this morning because I was like, I need to change this. Things are not going well. We got to do something about this. So then on Wednesday, I'm going to do front squats and quads. So I did front squats for the first time ever, I think last week or the week before. I think it was last week I did it for the first time ever because I was doing back squats and then my back was still hurting from my deadlift session because I did a different variation. And when you're doing back squats, if you don't keep your core super tight, you do use your lower back a little bit at the very bottom if you're already sore. Now this is going to depend on how you squat, how low you squat, whether you're doing low bar, high bar. In a low bar squat, you're going to be using your lower back a lot more than you would in a high bar squat. But if you are sore and that part of your body is fatigued, you're just going to feel it more naturally. So I was like, you know, we're not going to make this worse. So I went ahead and I tried out front squats. Low-key hate them because they're super hard, but I do want to get better at them. I need to grow my quads because back squats just grow my glutes and my hamstrings, which is fine, but I do want to focus on quads, and having a heavier movement will definitely help with that. So that's Wednesday, and then obviously I'm going to hit quads hypertrophy-wise, working in that like 8 to 12 rep range. And then on Thursdays, I didn't finish filling it out. What is my deal? Oh, right. Thursdays I'm going to deadlift. So I was talking to Robbie and I was telling him yesterday, I was like, my squats literally suck. I don't know what's going on. And we were talking about that for a while, and he was saying that he deadlifts middle of the week, and I was like, yeah, I can't do that for whatever reason, but I also can't deadlift and squat on the same exact day because I literally feel like I'm gonna die. So on Thursdays, I'm going to be deadlifting just all by itself, and then I'm also gonna be hitting hamstrings and glutes. So basically, deadlifts and squats take a huge toll on your body, whereas like bench, not so much. So I can do bench and squats or bench and deadlift on the same day because it's upper versus lower. Whereas squats and deadlifts, you're basically using your posterior chain and just about every muscle group on the lower half of your body. So doing them back to back, it never works out. Like if I deadlift first and then I squat, my squats suck. If I squat first and then I deadlift, my deadlifts suck. So it just didn't make sense to have them on the same day anymore. So I'm just doing them on Thursday now by themselves, and then I'll do some accessory hamstrings and glutes. So I haven't trained my glutes in over a year now probably, because they just grow so much from all the compound movements that I do, all the hamstring movements that I do. It's just like, it's a secondary muscle group in practically every lower body exercise that I do. So for me, at least, it's just not something that I need to focus on. But I am going to start training glutes just a little bit, probably 2 exercises, maybe 3 exercises a week, just that one day, because I do have a serious glute imbalance that you can see when I'm squatting from the front, and I want to fix that as best as I can. So obviously strengthening my glutes would help with that. They're already pretty much the strongest muscle in my body, but might as well just try and balance that out a bit. And then on Fridays, I'm going to be doing back squats and bench. So Fridays are going to be my volume back squat day. So I think each week I might switch it up. Maybe sometimes I'll do 3x5, sometimes I'll do 3x8, sometimes I'll do 4x5. But my rep ranges is going to be anywhere from probably 5 to 10. Whereas on Mondays, my rep ranges is going to be anywhere from like 1 to 5 reps. But I think that's going to be it. I just wanted to update you guys on what I've been doing. Yeah, my goals are powerlifting, so that's why my split is set up the way that it is, and that's why I'm not hitting muscle groups pretty heavy. When I do my accessory movements, like my hypertrophy days, like I used to have 2 hypertrophy days, 1 for upper, 1 for lower. It was biceps, triceps, and shoulders, and then it was back, hamstrings, and quads on 2 separate days. I set it up like that, and I would do like 4 exercises for each of those. So that would be like an entire day of lifting. That's like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours of lifting. Same amount of time that I spend in the gym when doing my powerlifting style training, if not a little less, obviously. So I was kind of like, I don't need to hit some of these muscle groups as often or with as much of the volume that I'm using. So now I'll probably do maybe 2 or 3 exercises and just do some more sets. I find it's easier to just keep it simple, do the exercises that you know are working, while still trying out new things for fun. But I like to focus more so on things that I know are going to work, because I'm just not someone who likes to waste time. I get really frustrated. So it doesn't help for me to be doing all this weird stuff in the gym that is fun but isn't helpful, because I love the gym because I see results and I also enjoy what I'm doing. But if I'm doing something and I'm not feeling the contraction but it's like fun, that's just not, it's not for me. Some people like it, some people just do pump-based workouts, but that's just not, in the long run, I just don't see the point for myself, at least. So, little ramble over. We're gonna end the video here. Give it a thumbs up if you learned anything. If you do have any questions, you can keep them. I said you can keep them in the comments. You guys can leave them in the comments. Give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'm gonna stop talking with my hands because I'm literally so obnoxious. And I'll see you in my next one. I love you. Bye.